personality type. So the shy folks are here. Okay, so we have a shy or timid person in our group. What can we do? Who's the spokesman? He's not shy.
No, I'm not shy, but I got ruined by all the rest of the I think for the shy people, if you look down on the sheet, the second to last one talks about sharing means receiving as well as giving, listening as well as speaking. And I think speaking was the last part. A lot of times you have a hard time drawing the shy person out because they don't want to engage, but if you engage by asking them to read, it breaks the ice. And I think that was a really good tip we came up with.
Excellent, excellent. Ask them to read. Perfect. Great. Give them a job that maybe they would be comfortable with. Thank you. Very good. Any other suggestions over here?
Oh,
Yes?
we were just thinking the fact that they haven't shared, you almost have to bring them out and just, of course, call them by name and just say, it looks like you've really been thinking about this. And would you be willing to? Because they have the option to not.
Yeah.
But would you be willing to share if you've had an experience like this?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You know, you have to be careful. Maybe not the first time you're together, you know, but because you don't want to put them on the spot. But the way you can do that is actually say to the whole group, you know that he's the only one that didn't share. So before you move on, it's the same thing. Maybe, is there anybody else that would like to share before we go on? Has everybody, you know, had an opportunity? Do you see how that's a little different than maybe pointing to that one person? But same idea. Just create space. So it means we have to get comfortable with silence and creating that space for that. But yeah, try to create some space for that person, a little extra time. Very good. Any other suggestions? Were there some shy people over there too? They're hiding over there, those shy folks. No, right? No more shy folks over there. Anything else come to mind? I want to share with you that this is a true story from Boston that was shared with me by one of our presenters that was in Boston. There was a gentleman that did not share at all. The whole first season, didn't say a word. And it turned out, it came back season 2, and he said that he was very depressed. He was actually considering suicide. And he told the group that they kept him alive.
Wow.
That's a true story. Now, let's hope that all those shy folks, I mean, and you know, chances are they're not severely depressed people or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But my point is that in listening, we also receive, as he said. So that shy person who's listening is receiving. And the people in that group, they almost couldn't even believe that anything that they could have said could have had that much of an impact on this one person. Face of Christ, being there every week, showing up, you know, different things that model and that give people hope. So we can't underestimate why somebody's kind of acting the way they are. So, and you know, the other thing that you can do with a shy person is to talk to them, you know, one-on-one during the coffee break, right? You can say to them, you know, how did it go tonight, or how are you feeling? You can call them. You're going to be checking in with folks, that kind of thing. So did anybody have another suggestion in the larger group about shy that they want to say? I think we covered lots of them, yeah?
I was just thinking, if someone maybe week after week wasn't sharing, to maybe speak to them privately. Is there anything as a leader I could do that would help you
Yes.
share with everyone?
You
know,
could.
Just because maybe there's a dynamic going on in the group I'm not aware of is causing them not to share.
Might be just say, how's it going for you in the group? You know, are you enjoying it? Or, you know, something like that, as opposed to making it that they're not sharing is a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a
I
difference
just
that just to say, how's it, you know, how are you enjoying it, or something like that. Anything that shows that, you know, they belong and that you care about them, and that sort of thing. Okay, good. That's great. Okay, so the dominators. Whoa. We have one group right here. Look at them. And are you also dominators too? Okay, so they're all pointing at her. And so any
I don't know, I'm not comfortable sharing.
Actually, we're pointing at her brother.
Oh, her brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do? Any suggestions? Yes.
Please keep in mind, I'm speaking through the heart of a middle school teacher, okay? It's one of the things that we talked about doing, Tony did it so well, it's really important to use the person's name. That is so powerful, to say, Tony, I love how your mind works on that. Or, I've never heard it quite like that before. Or, that's stunning, because the person really wants to continue to be heard. The other thing that we talked about doing, and it does work, is, wow, could you hold that thought for just a sec? Just for a sec. I promise we'll get back to it eventually.
Right.
But always.
For a second.
Probably don't want to use it eventually. And then saying, with that in mind, would you think about the question we just asked?
Perfect, that's great.
And then move it around.
And move it around, yeah.
And refocus the question. Because sometimes the dominant, and I used to be one. Are you one too?
I don't think so.
Sometimes they'll say, what was the question?
What was the question?
And then you can have a chance to read.
Yeah. Very good. That's very good. So, affirming them. That's you seem really passionate about that. You have a lot to say about that. Does anybody else want to add something to what Tony has just shared? Right? Does that sound like that could work too in that situation? Okay. Anything else we can do about the dominator? Did you all come up with something different?
I just put that we affirm that what they're saying is interesting. And
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay.
I have trouble.
All right, she said, okay, you don't have to. Is it anybody else? Who was your appointed person?
Her.
Significant other.
Okay.
Affirm that was interesting. Use silent time after you reaffirm it. I guess
And then restate.
and restate the
question.
mission question.
Uh-huh.
Kind of redirect it to maybe to a different person. Now,
Like
that was great.
directly.
Like-
Gibbs a bad on that,
Or, yeah,
and work together.
right,
And
right,
that's their idea.
Yeah, stop.
right. So redirect to a different person. And if you don't want to actually, put somebody else on the spot, because then, then maybe they'll feel like a bad guy or something, you can just say, does anybody else want to, and if nobody else wants to share on that now is, tell me your name again in the yellow sweater. As Annie said, Ann said, you can say, well, we'll come back to that, but, let's move on to the next question, so.
What do you think about some silence?
Silence, that's what they said too, yeah.
I've had yours.
You mean actually saying that to the dominator? Silence! Uh-oh. Terry's going to be getting some calls. No, but actually, we're making a good point, though. Remember that you all as a group at the beginning are going to commit to each other certain things. And it is, and that's something else that you can actually do. Maybe not right in that moment, but the following week you can start your meeting by saying, I thought it might be a good time for us to revisit what we committed to at the beginning of the sessions. That everybody would have a chance to talk once. And this way, who's the bad guy? The little piece of paper that you all signed at the beginning. It's the same thing with the time. You can assign that shy person can be the timekeeper. That shy person, ask them to keep time for you. Okay, we have to move on to the action step. That kind of thing. And those dominators will get the point. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Who's after the dominator? The skeptic. Where are skeptics? Over there. Skeptics. Who wants to share? They're all pointing at each other, yeah. You're really good. You're really good, they said.
Really?
Yeah.
What we came up with, a few things, and we tried to look at each of on your paper, there's 4 or 5 things there. We try to look at each one and analyze and see how we can deal with it. First of all, skeptics, when they say something, it's all coming from their life experience. So we have to acknowledge that first. Use their name. Redirect the question or redirect their answer to other people in the group. So it's not just, they're getting affirmation from everybody else also. And acknowledge, I can't read her writing. Oh, yeah, ask questions, yeah. What do you think about how that might relate to what we're talking about?
Very good. Very good.
Is there anyone else in the group that shares that feeling? So you get more people involved, and I have to realize that, what was your experience? How was your experience related to the gospel that we have in our group today?
Great, great.
Then there's always those people about churchy stuff, institutionalized Catholicism. That also comes from an experience that they've had. So that could be a springboard to go to conversation about people's experiences with the church and make it part of the gospel itself. And everyone has different experiences. And keep it universal, keep it Catholic, keep it part of the, don't make it a good and bad situation. The idea is, the trick is to keep the discussion going and not divide the group.
Not divide the group, very key. Wow, they got a lot of them there, didn't they? I don't know if there are any other skeptics that want to add anything to that. Did they cover yours? Good, yeah, that's what's kind of nice about doing this. You realize that there are some things that really, you're all coming up with the same ideas, because those are really nice ways to deal with that. The other thing I want to mention, two things about the skeptic, is that you also can, if it's, let's say it's a matter of doctrine or a matter of faith, something that they're skeptical about, you can say, you know what, why don't we do a little research? Would anybody